Hi, I'm Uncle Mark. Welcome to the channel. Was working on a head gasket project, and I broke one of the rocker arm bolts when I was torquing them down to spec. Just broke one. I've heard that you can break a lot more of them. What do? I've never had that problem before, so I called a couple buddies. What could I do? I figured let's do a Helicoil, but I know what it is. I've just never done one before. Asked a couple guys that I figured, they've done them. They'll be able to, give me some pointers or a little bit of help. They were all, I know the principle, just never used one. So anyway, I got a kit and I'm going to put it in. You can watch me do it. I'll do a step-by-step. There's skippable chapters if you're trying to do one yourself, so that maybe we get to a certain part of it. You've seen how that's done. Let's go to the next one, just along the bottom here where the red pointer is. As to the time, you can either drag that to the next chapter. Actually, I think you can hover over it. It'll show you the chapters, or down in the description. So here's the stripped out hole. I was thinking, now what? Especially here, there's going to be tension on these rockers. So I bought one of these kits. It's a Helicoil kit. And looks like it's got everything I need except for the drill bit. So they say you drill the hole a little bigger. You tap it for some new threads, and then you install that Helicoil into those threads. And you've got the special tool there, and then that black tool comes out, and we should be able to put our bolt back in. That's that thread maker. Of course, it had no way to turn them, so I'm going to use a socket or something on the end. There probably is a kit for that too, but I didn't want to buy the whole thing, and it came with a bunch of these. They're all the same size. So what I did at the parts store is I actually brought the bolt that I wanted to get threads for. Now this is the little guy that turns that little Helicoil, and it's got a little finger on the end of it. It only works one way. So I was trying to figure out, how am I going to drill this straight? Of course, this engine's not up and down straight. In fact, these rocker arms go in a little bit on angles too. So I thought, well, maybe a metal piece against my spring, and then I could, use the drill to hold it at the right angle. It's like, yeah, but what about left and right? Maybe that's up and down. So I fiddled with that for a little bit, and it's like, I don't think that's going to work, not the way I want. So I had a better idea. At least I think it's a better idea. Again, this is the first time I've ever used one of these. I figured, well, there's probably going to be metal shavings going everywhere. So I'm going to cover everything that I don't want the shavings to fall into. Use a little bit of tape, duct tape. Of course, on this thing, you got oil, engine oil on stuff, which makes it hard for the tape to stick. And then I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit a socket on there, because I can hold the socket. So then the socket will be kind of straight. And then what I can use is the hole of the socket to figure out where the drill bit is, just center it kind of thing. And here's the bolt I'm trying to reproduce, or at least the hole. I was trying to figure out, I don't want to dig too deep or drill too deep. So I'm just doing a little bit of measuring here. See how far in I need to go. I'm going to mark the drill bit. I think I'm going to use some tape. So that's what I did. Again, this is the first time I've done this. I'll tell you that this did work, this weird method. I'm sure there was a better method, but I couldn't find one. They didn't really give you a whole lot of instructions how to hold this centered and level. The skippable chapters too, so if you know this part and you want to go to the next part, skip to the next chapter. It should be along the slider bar or down in the description. So now that I know how far I want it to go, the coil just has to be in so far, and that's it. Now I'm figuring I'm digging into aluminum here, so it's probably going to grab. This would be nice if I could have two people, one to hold the socket, and then if I could have held the drill. With two hands, you hear how it kind of grabbed there. So it's a good thing I've got a reversible drill. Use that quite a bit. So I just wanted to make sure everything's clean. You'll see this isn't easy either. It's not necessarily a flat piece that's going in there. It's got a groove in it, so I don't want to go any deeper. Just hear how this catches. Again, I don't think this was ideal. So I had to do it a few times. Kept caught again. Oh, man. Sure wants to catch. Wanted to keep cleaning it out too. One thing I did learn is they're saying that when you end up cutting the threads after, that you don't want to force it. So I don't want junk in there, right? You can see I've only drilled that far down. I need to be a little bit further down. Again, try not to go too far. Maybe the next one I do, I'll feel a little more confident, and I will. You can see there. A little further in. One thing I found too is using a little bit of compressed air. And I was amazed, pieces were flying. So you want to make sure you have the goggles on. A little deeper. I won't show you too much more of this, but you can see it's a little deeper. Just giving you an idea how much work this is really to do it. I figured I'll just see, because the hole is a little bigger now. Does it grab a little bit at the end? Because that little coil does not actually go the length of the bolt. So it's just a short little guy. That seemed to work the best. I had one of these kind of sockets. What do they call these things again? It doesn't really matter the size, because your bolt's probably not going to be the same size, or the hole you're trying to do. But that just fit in there pretty snug, and I figured that's how I can turn it with a socket on the end, or like a ratchet on the end of it. A short ratchet. There probably is a kit to be able to turn that tap, but I don't have it. This worked okay though. So once I got it going, I was trying to be as close. It's just started getting in there. It's still pretty wobbly. It's like I was shocked. You know, once you get in there, then it should start going straight. Sure hoping so. And again, I'm trying to be as straight as I can, as careful as I can. I'm sure there's going to be some guys, the machinists out there going, oh, Mark. So redid it quite a few times there. Tried cleaning it out as well. There you can see this is going a lot straighter and not so wobbly now as it's going deeper. And of course, once it started binding a little bit, I figured I'm going to turn it out, clean it out again. Why is that so important? Just hang on a second here. Because they claim if you jam it in there, it can actually break off, and that's hardened steel or whatever. You'll never drill through that. This tap. No, I'm trying to just take my time. Get in a little further, get it to dig a little more, reverse it again, clean it out. It's looking pretty good. So I'm thinking here now, I probably have it deep enough after this last time here. And I cleaned it out, which you know how to do that already. Now this, how this works, it's got a little hook on the end. It's really hard to see, but it hooks that little hook on the spring. Maybe if I put it in there, you'll be able to see. And it just, as you turn it, there we go. And all of a sudden it just stops, and then I can turn the Helicoil. So again, I was trying to make it as straight as I could. I didn't want to force it sideways or something. The way this bolt broke is I was just torquing it. Literally torquing it to torque specs like all the other ones. I didn't have any problem. Although I had live stream part of this, and one of the mechanics that follows me, and I follow him, he says he did one of these engines and he actually stripped 2 of them. So maybe it's not uncommon. So once you have it in far enough, you just turn this piece out, this tool, and there it's inside. Now there's that little hook in the end of the spring that we have to do something with. You can see it there. It's got a little notch in it, so we can just snap it off. So I'm just going to use, I got a T20 torque screwdriver. I could use any screwdriver that was small enough to fit in there. A couple little taps and it broke off. So you can see it's sitting in there somewhere. It's not a big piece. So I tried cleaning everything off, gently taking everything away so that none of the metal shavings, and if there are any, you could vacuum them up. And then try and get my rocker arm and bolt back in. And then of course I torqued it down to the spec that it's supposed to be. Well, this is not, I just tightened it with this, got my torque wrench out, torqued it to spec, and then I'm going to actually show you the end product when the engine's all back together and it running and sounding fine. Take a listen. So that's it. It was, like I say, the first time I've ever done one of these. I went to a local parts store, brought the bolt with me. They measured it. They measured the threads to know if they were metric or standard, and also to know if they were, a coarse thread or not, because each bolt is going to be different. And they gave me the exact one. I wouldn't have been able to figure it out myself. That's what I would suggest you do if you're going to try this yourself. Please give me the thumbs up if you haven't already. You can subscribe down in the corner as well. I've got a whole bunch of different videos. Most of them are very vehicle specific, but this one could have been any vehicle or any bolt, right? I'll also, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but right here, I'll put a playlist of miscellaneous repairs. We'll throw in some other ones in there as well. So there's a playlist of things like this. You and your family stay safe. Thanks for spending about 15 minutes with me. I don't know how long it actually took. Probably a good half hour to do it. But there you go. You see how it's done. Hopefully it'll help you to do a better job than I did. I'm sure you can. Remember to be safe. Your safety is your responsibility and should be priority number 1. Also, give me the thumbs up if you like the video. Plus, please subscribe and you'll get all the notifications. It's easy. The little dog will show you how. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. We think it's a goner, but so I did intake manifolds